So when it comes to college, middle-class families are in a tight spot. They are pretty much feeling the squeeze. They make too much money to qualify for need-based aid, but they also don't make enough money to where they can write a check for any amount. So the question is a 529 account the right way to go, or is it a financial trap? Let's go ahead and dive into it. So how's it going? I'm Josh Smith. I'm the founder of A Grade Above College Planning. Thank you for checking out this video. What we basically do is we help families reduce their out-of-pocket expenses for college. We want to help you not just save money for college, but also on the cost of college and pay for school without touching your retirement dollars. So in this particular video, in this series, we are talking about 529 accounts, what they are, what they aren't, the good, bad, and the ugly. And in this video, we are talking about does a 529, more specifically for the middle class families, does a 529 account make sense and when it might actually count against you? So let's go ahead and jump into that. So why are 529s attractive? The 529 account gives you some tax benefits. It allows you to save after-tax dollars that can grow tax deferred and that can be used tax-free for several qualified educational expenses. For many families that have middle and high school students, especially those that have high income, the tax savings alone, depending on what your state offers, can add up to thousands of dollars. And that's a big deal. When money is invested in a 529 account or saved for your students' college education, now we're going to use things like, typically there's mutual funds or even index funds, and there's several different types of funds, and the account could be managed multiple ways. So one benefit is that you do have the ability to grow your asset. You may be able to accumulate $100,000 that you can put towards college where you've only contributed $50,000 or $75,000 over your student's lifetime. That's also a big deal. Now, where 529s can become a little tricky is never do we want to liquidate appreciating assets, right? So if you're saving money and you're earning a great rate of return, one of the worst feelings is to have to stifle that growth, right? Cut that growth to, or cut the momentum, I would say, to pay or liquidate and pay for school, or pay for anything for that matter. When you're earning a 10% return, last thing you want to do is say, okay, well, let me shave off $30,000 and now I'm only earning 10% on a much smaller amount. So one of the tricky things is as you're accumulating and as you're earning, you are forced to have to liquidate and kill, a good portion of your earning potential to spend the money for college. It's a lot like using cash and losing opportunity costs when it comes to college expenses. A lot of us heard of the investment saying, you want to buy low and sell high. Well, it kind of is counterproductive when it comes to having an account that is accumulating and growing and we have to tap into it prematurely or stifle that growth or that momentum to pay for college expenses. So if you're a family and your student may have the ability to qualify for need-based aid, maybe they're right on the edge or on the cusp of getting some need-based help from certain colleges based on that college's cost of attendance, a 529 account could have a negative impact on their ability to receive aid. Now, it's only going to have an impact at about 5, maybe a little over 5.5, 5.64% to be exact, but that is money that you won't be able to receive in the form of need-based help that could actually cost you a little bit more in the long run. So having a 529, it is an accessible asset when it comes to financial aid, although it's not assessed as heavily as income, right? It's not going to make the same impact that your income is going to have. And if you're not going to qualify for financial aid, then it doesn't really matter. But if you're right there and there's an opportunity to qualify for some need-based help, some favorable need-based help, you just always got to consider the 529 at that 5.64% as a part of your overall cost, right? That is going to go against you when it comes to paying for college. Most situations, a 529 account is still worth it. Most families that have the ability to save consistently in a 529 account, a parent-owned account, they also are the type of family that typically won't qualify for a lot of need-based aid. So this is basically saying that you're taking matters into your own hands and you're going to be paying for college. Now, back to my point that I made a little bit earlier when it comes to interest rates and growth and things like that. And I understand that if you're going to use a 529 to pay for college, you're not really worried about opportunity costs, because that's what the money was intended for. But even though I feel like that's not necessarily the smartest or the wisest financial decision to make, but if you already have a 529, or if you're currently contributing to a 529 account, it's not a bad deal and it's still worth it. A 529 account is a great way to accumulate some savings to help bridge the gap or even cover a significant portion of your student's college education. And one of the benefits that I talked about in the previous video is even if they get a full scholarship, or if they decide not to go to college, or even if they went to trade school, you can still use that 529 account for other students. You can use it for other types of expenses or roll it over into an IRA. The biggest thing to consider when it comes to a 529 account is, as mainly for middle class families, is you just don't want to fund it blindly. You always want to have a strategy. Strategy is everything, and having the right strategy with the right expectations is really where the magic happens. If you want help deciding whether or not a 529 account is right for your student, right for your family situation, do not hesitate to reach out to us. You can comment below. There's a link in the description where you can book an appointment to meet with us. And if you need any other additional resources, stay tuned. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss that next video. We're talking about the 5 biggest 529 mistakes that families make all the time. And these can definitely cost you money. What you don't know can definitely cost you. We'll see you in the next video. Have a good day.